We are here today to announce that the Justice Department has secured felony guilty pleas from the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, Binance.
Actually, it's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Largest virtual.
Binance.
Binance. And let me be clear. It's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Council has discussed crypto regulations and legislations at length, and we have come to the conclusion that instead of regulating, we are going to ape a fat bag each into laptop and pump it to over $1,300,000,000,000,000,000,000,000 market cap. Let's fucking go, crackheads.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Crypto Morning Coffee. I got my coffee locked and loaded, ready to go, because we have to talk about Bitcoin that is right now going up. Bitcoin above 61,000, in fact at 61,240 right now, sitting under critical overhead resistance, and there are a couple of reasons for it, and there are a couple of important developments exactly this week that not everyone is aware of, but that could end our sideways chop of many months and actually lead to the next step in the rally. It's not a guarantee, but it could be interesting to look at these things. And there are a couple of factors that are playing together, like the global development of liquidity, of cash, the Fed with their rate hikes, but also some political events, right? So, for example, the declared composition of Democratic and Republican potential cabinets if they win. So we're going to take a look at that, but also at the charts. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin's dominance, at the DXY, at many charts, and then we put a little bit of the pieces together on what is going on with Bitcoin right now, and if the cycle is still intact, obviously. And then also, obviously, we want to talk about Ecomi and Veve, discuss a little bit as the Ecomi utility is being rolled out. So yeah, that is going to be our topics for today, so stay tuned all the way through. So, good morning to every one of you. I hope you also got your coffee locked and loaded, ready to go. That is important. Also, make sure to smash up the like button right now. That would be important. We have 10 people here, so if all the 10 people could just do me that favor, except if you're driving. If you're driving, I don't want to put your life on risk for just a like, right? In the bull market, that might be a different story. No, just joking. Okay, so we have a lot of people here already. Green Lantern is here, Justin is here, Trucking Hank is here, Energy is here. And Justin says, I laugh when traditional banks delay me from buying more crypto. How is that happening? I think by now, I don't know with every exchange, but stuff like Bitpanda, you can directly connect to the bank account and have instant trade or instant transfers, even on Sundays or so. So they allow this. Also, I like the use of the Bitcoin emoji here for this day. So Trucking Hank asks, big stacker announcement today. I think there is a space, right? There will be a space going on for stacker. So we will see how and what the announcements are. So we are going to discuss that as well. We are going to discuss some things around stacker as well. But let's first take a look at Bitcoin. Look at that. This is a 4-hour chart. Looks, which we don't see too often here, right? But we are up since 6% since a couple of days. And we are above 60,000. So that is good, but we need to climb above 62,100 before the month ends to stay in that bull flag, right? Pending transactions, yada yada yada. Yeah, absolutely. But so they they deprived you of getting into crypto a little bit cheaper, but because now everything is green in the market, and we can also look at that in a second when we're looking at the market as a general. But what is important to note is we bounced off of this support again. We are going to challenge very likely the 62,000. And then we will see how this plays out. You could read all sorts of TA into that, which I'm not going to do here on a 4-hourly chart. What is important though is, and TradingView is trolling me again, where it just grays out. Let me quickly check this. What is important though is, if we look at on the monthly, just to outline this once more, where we need to go. Looking at the monthly, obviously we are still red. But you see, if we go to 62,120 or something like that, then we actually close the monthly candle within that. I think the likelihood is pretty high given the circumstances that we're looking at in the next days, right? So there are a couple of events coming up, and one of those events is that Fed Chair Powell is going to be giving a speech at Jackson Hole. And they say, or here at Fortune, they say it's just got a lot less predictable what is coming out of that. So we see here, since 1981, Federal Reserve bankers, business leaders, noted academics and government officials have gathered each August for a 3-day symposium in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. I think it is Wyoming, right? To discuss critical issues facing the global economy and financial market, while also doing a bit of fly fishing and horseback riding. Okay, so I think the horseback riding and the fly fishing is not the important factor here, but what they are discussing, and when Fed Chair Jerome Powell gives a speech, then it's always closely watched, because in the recent years, with the Fed battling inflation, a spotlight on symposium has only become brighter, because basically everyone is watching for a clue on what is going to happen next with the market, with the Fed rates, right? So this speech is going to be today, it seems. I think it's today. The main event will take place. Actually, the main event is Friday 10 a.m. ET, so it's on Friday. And so he will be probably speaking on Friday. But if he implies something that could lead to, or that could hint at a 50 basis point rate cut or even more, or maybe he implies that there are several rate cuts necessary this year, where the market is currently factoring in 3 cuts this year again. You remember that in the very bearish times of the sideways chop, actually people were claiming, and that was somewhere here, right, in April, that there's only one cut on the table, only one rate cut would be on the table, and that this rate cut, that was so bearish that the market crashed and corrected. So you can also see that the announcement of several rate cuts, or implying that, would lead to an opposite effect. So I would say we would be back in this in no time if that was the case. So we are going to take a look at this, obviously, and so it's on the 23rd of August is the Fed Chair Powell speech, and then what is tomorrow is FOMC minutes. So this also could give a clue. The FOMC minutes is like basically releasing how the decision to hold the rate has been formed and what has been discussed during this meeting. So that is going to be released tomorrow, and that already can shake the market. So I would say this week we get more volatility, and it's very likely to the upside. Very likely to the upside. So if you like that, then please smash up the like button on the stream, and let's move on. So the best way to losing your money is to be a day trader. It's not for everyone, but you see here the life of a day trader is 8 hours working in your 9 to 5. Yeah, your 9 to 5 trader, also 9 to 5 work, and then 9 to 5 sleep with your teddy bears, and then 9 to 5 you losing money, and then rinse repeat, right? Just joking, but in my opinion, yes, buy and hodl is the best strategy, also depending on where you are in the world. Speaking of where you are in the world, I mean, I am German. I can only watch at elections and at the US, but the parties are at the moment issuing who they are going to bring into their administration. And apparently Kamala Harris has nominated Gary Gensler as Secretary of Treasury if she's elected, whereas I think the speculation on the Trump side is that he would use Larry Fink, the BlackRock guy, or Jamie Dimon for this function, right? And then also what is even worse is the Democratic Party has released their platform, so that I think that this their entire program, right? We see here basically the most important stuff, like the influence of stopping influence of special interest, reproductive freedom, women's rights, racial equity, LGBTQI plus ABC, I don't know, disability, tribal nations, whatever. So in all of that, no word about crypto and Bitcoin. And this is where, like, people were hoping that the Democratic Party actually would have like some sort of shift, because there was this internal letter where some members of Democratic Party urged the Democratic Party to take a shift on the crypto policy that they have. But nominating Gensler and not talking about crypto gives a clear direction on where this is going, right? And that it's not that. So Bitcoin should be bipartisan, where every side would just be in favor of crypto, but currently it's not. We are not at this stage yet, and maybe it needs to be like, I don't know the outcome, obviously, but maybe it needs to be that crypto wins or loses the election for someone, and then in the next time it will be in both parties. But it doesn't seem that crypto is playing a role in democratic government, whereas it is rumored that, or basically Trump said that. Trump says he would offer Elon Musk a cabinet advisory role if elected president, and apparently the name is Department of Government Efficiency, short form Doge. So if that would be real, that would cause probably a big Doge pump. But the funny thing is, like, there was this interview, right, on X. There's a whole debate about X, also with the stuff that is going on in Europe and so on. So you see, you can, for example, as a crypto streamer, right, you can say, oh, let's not do political content. Wrecked, right? You can't get around it. You can't get around it, because Bitcoin has become political, and it is. I mean, it has become political before, right? We remember the trucker protests in Canada, for example, and stuff like that. It was political before, but actually in its function, now it's political in terms of its regulation, and it influences. It's going to be an influence in the U.S. Votes, in the U.S. elections. Because there are apparently, I'm not sure if actually true, but there are apparently like 50 million Bitcoin holders in the US, or crypto holders, that are interested in seeing that. So that's not the small fraction. Will they all, because of that, then vote Republican? I have no idea. But it has the potential to shake the market quite a bit, because with a stance, basically it means, and I'm not even taking any big side here, but it basically means Trump wins is bullish for the market, Kamala wins bearish for the market, right? For the crypto market. So we will see. I think personally in the end, even though yes, Kamala wins is bearish, in the end it will not matter too much for the direction of where Bitcoin is going long term. I think after 1 or 2 months, it will be priced in, and then crypto will move along with its cycle. So we shouldn't be too fearful for this. But obviously, there is a better outcome if there's actually a strategic reserve being built. Let's see. Justin says Pepe looking dubious. What? Exactly. The 9 to 5 Pepe is not so happy. But now, Bitcoin halving cycle development. We are looking at this almost daily. We are down here. We are not on track with the rest, right? But it is the reason for this is that we have been outperforming before the halving, and this starts at the halving, so now we're a little bit lower. But I think the sideways chop, it has so we're at 120 days, and it lasts usually 170 days. So let me quickly go in the daily here and just check for us again how much longer we have to wait at the maximum. Oops, where is it? There we go. So halving, we are 123 days. I thought it's 121, but or is my halving out of whack here with the April? Where is it exactly? It was 19th of April, right? Am I right? So it's 123 days in, and the longest it has ever taken, or the average, not the longest, but the average is 170 days. So 160 days would be 26th of September. So beginning of October, let's do that again. 170 days. There you go. 6th of October would be basically where we would latestly start the rally. I think it could be already, we could be coiling up before. And then the elections, they're only in November this year, right? So yeah. So somewhere here we should, maybe we can put in a text on the 6th of October and say 6th of October and say pump here. But this is not the, why doesn't it have a text bubble? I want a text bubble to have it pump here. Call out. Latest pump. If we take the average. I would say there is a good chance though, and I will mark this here so no one can say I didn't say this, that latest pump is happening this time even later, and it's only to the elections, right? Alex says, GMPH still back hodling here since 006 appreciate you do. Thank you very much. I think you're talking about Omi, right? Otherwise, if you're back hodling Bitcoin since 006, you are king. You are king. October at the earliest, I think. Yeah, maybe it's earliest. So we call it latest pump, or we call it pump. Let's just call it pump, because latest pump would be November, right? But the developments of today, they could change some things up. So where is the, yeah, there it is. So yeah, that's basically where we somewhere here we would pump, right? Here's the 200-day mark after the halving. Latestly, I think at 200-day mark, we should be in the pump already, because usually also the market tends to front run certain events. And also we will see some increased volatility probably if Trump is like on the winning in the polls and whatnot. Like there will be back and forth, right? Also, interesting stuff is 94% of all Bitcoin supply has been mined already. So there's only 1,258,132 Bitcoin left to be mined, and it's going to be over the course of the next 100 years or so. So it's not all the 1.2 million that is going to be dilution to the market. It's way less. We know that there is like, we can even make the calculation. I think there's 450 Bitcoin mined per day. So times 365. So that means per year there's only coming 164K out of the mining. And then if you consider like roughly 4 years, you have 650,000 Bitcoin that is being mined, and then there's another halving, and then it's way less, right? Then it's another 300K and so on. So that is coming, and it's even less because there is already 120 days progressed or so, maybe 50K even already mined of that. On the other hand, what is an important calculation that I just thought of in these days is, let's say because of game theory, over the next 20 years or so, or over the next 30 years, 8 billion people, they want to go into crypto, right? So you have 21 million coins, and you have 8 billion people, right? That's the Bitcoin that everyone can have if you have an equal distribution and no whole coiner sits on their Bitcoin, and no 0.1 coiner and no MicroStrategy and whatever. Like if it was equally distributed among people, then everyone in the world can have a maximum of 002625 Bitcoin, right? So that should be the minimum for everyone to have, at least, so to not fall behind in the future, right? But then you could argue, but there's 4 million Bitcoin is lost. Okay, so we only have 17 million, right? So divide that by 8 billion. You only have 0021 actually that theoretically, if everyone, like if the institutions and governments at some point, if they would just sell off slightly and trickling, like fiat survives and whatnot, right? So at this price, at 61,200, that is $130 dollars per person, right? In today's prices. So with $130.05, technically a person can buy what is theirs at the minimum at the moment, right? But obviously if 8 billion people are in it and it's not equally distributed, that price per share is way higher, right? So it's just an interesting calculation, because it also means like if you have multiples of that, then the price is exponentially higher for someone else to even acquire a fraction of this, right? So I would say maybe in 2 cycles or in 3 cycles, actually this fraction, like at the moment it's already hard for parts of the world to get to 0.1 Bitcoin, right? To 10% of the Bitcoin, which is $6,100 for 0.1. So in a cycle or 2, it's probably going to be hard to get 001. Yeah, probably, as there is no equal distribution on that. So I would say that at the moment, if someone is an absolute no coiner, it should be the goal, at least for everyone in the world, to at least secure this fraction, like total supply divided by 8 billion. But that's just on a side note. Whereas we're talking about this little fraction, whales are accumulating Bitcoin because the play here is to sell, obviously, to sell Bitcoin at high prices to these other people, right? To then fund whatever lifestyle and hodl the rest. No one will sell the Bitcoin. No one will sell their Bitcoin to others in exchange for fiat that they don't use and then there's only devalues, right? I think that time is over. But people are currently in the sideways chop selling to whales. Look at this massive, massive spike. Look at this massive spike of permanent holder addresses and ETFs of whale wallets, right? So this is just insane. And so this means also that at this point it seems that these wallets, they really see these as attractive prices. And I think that means with the selling going away from the exchange, from Mt. Gox distribution, from Genesis distribution, from German distribution, from US Silk Road potential distribution, and so on, and from retail that got flooded out. You have to imagine that not everyone is talking bullish, also from the YouTube side, right? And on Twitter, I see a lot of negativity. If you run a poll on if the bull run is over or not, there is more than 30% clicking yes. This is insane, right? So we're definitely not at a phase where we have extreme greed. No, we have, if we look at the fear and greed index, we are at extreme fear in the market. That is not a top indicator. There has never been a top in the crypto cycle where we were at extreme fear at the top. That is always like extreme greed, and everyone is like, oh, it's going to go higher. We are at 200,000 Bitcoin and it's going to 400,000. And you have like a extreme greed index of 93 and so on. Then you have to consider there might be a top in, right? There might be a top in now, but this is not the case. This is absolutely not the case. In fact, we have most of it in front of us. And yes, there are a lot of YouTubers that say the same thing like I do. But there are also many that claim that we are on the verge of a crash of 1929, Black Friday, everything. Like, we had that story already, right? I mean, Sea Crisis, the talks were similar. Last bear market, the talks were like this. We had YouTubers like Crypto Savvy that are now they are basically saying, these YouTubers, they are talking about this since almost 4 years, like since the beginning of the last bear market at least, right? So their strategy, I understand the strategy. The strategy is you talk about this crash as long as it's necessary until it finally hits, and then you're going to be the big crash profit, right? Yeah, exactly like Jasper Frank says. Jasper Frank says maybe the bull run is over different times. I would disagree. And it's not because of the halving. It's because of the times are different, because we are in a recessive environment since an extensive amount of time. Like, Germany is in a recession, right? But no one, like in most of the countries, politicians only want to agree and tell everybody that you are in a recession when they finally need to justify a method with it. But they will not tell you when the recession is actually there. But right now we have layoffs, we have price increases, we have high interest rates, we have companies doing not well. They cannot get cheap loans to basically invest in their endeavors and so on. So yes, there's a recessive environment, like there was in like for a very short period before the sea crisis pump. But quantitative easing is coming back. Quantitative easing is coming back for sure. Ernie says, PH, I have to strongly disagree about BTC price doesn't matter on who wins the US election. Trump says BTC could be base of US currency or possibly behind social security. That demand would push crypto. 100%. I'm not saying that it doesn't matter at all. I'm saying that in the long term, it will not decide about the bull run, right? So the bull run will what I wanted to say is the bull run will continue also if the other side wins, but it's exponentially more bullish if Trump wins. I agree with you because of strategic stockpile, about Bitcoin adoption, as you say, in Social Security, all the pension funds and whatnot. It's easier for people then to be Bitcoin holders, probably tax implications, right? Also, if you see that Kamala is like, we are going to raise, I think she was like income tax raise, like different taxes she wants to raise, right? Whereas Trump wants to get rid of taxes so people have more money. Basically, the stimulus that you need for people to ape into crypto. Yes, Ernie, I 100% agree with you. What I meant is, it's not going to be one straight red line to the bottom and we will not recover from that the next 4 years. That is what I meant, right? So I 100% agree with you that it will have implications. That is the whale holders. Also, another one that points into the direction of a reversal is the hash ribbon signals the end of miner capitulation. Finally, right? We had seen miner capitulation a long time, and basically, what we see here is that it seems that the miner capitulation is finally over. Jasper Frank says baby boomers are dying, wealth transfer. I mean, are baby boomers already dying? I don't think so. I think it's, what is that, like 10, 20 years from now? Baby boomers are going now in retirement, which leads to a lack in workforce, but they are not all dying. I mean, some are dying, but it's like baby boomers are, what are they now? Like 65 years old? What is that? Like 60? How old are baby? If I put that in Google, what will happen? How old are baby boomers today? Yeah, so 60 to 69 is the biggest cohort, right? So 60 to 69. It's not like in most developed countries, in some countries the average life expectancy is really only 70. But I think in the US and also in most countries in Europe, it's more to the 80 years old. So they still have 10 years on average, right? But here's Boomers 1, also they are 70s to 78. So I give you that, Jasper. That seems to be here. Sorry, you see this here. Boomers 1, I agree with you. These like Boomers 1 and 2. So technically the Boomers 1, 46 to 54, they are getting old right now. That's true. And there is a demographic ticking bomb that is behind that, and most of this is like retirement funds and so on. That and how society in the different countries is going to finance all the old people that are going into retirement, whereas they themselves had way less children, right? Ernie says, all good, go Trump, low taxes. Low taxes is always good for economy. I don't get me wrong here. Okay, so let's quickly check this out. Meme coins and the amount of token holders is super funny because, like, you know, that the narrative in the last couple of months was meme coins are the way. And everyone is now sitting in meme coins. So that what are the most popular meme coins here on each chain? We have SHIB on Ethereum. There's also meme on Ethereum, and then Pepe. By the way, what they didn't do is they should have also shown on Bitcoin, but there is Baby Doge and on BNB. There is Cat with Hat apparently and Bonk on Solana, and this is only like this the amount of holders. The amount of holders, not the amount of whale holders or something like that, right? So on base, there is Degen and Brad. and on Ton there's Fish and Rido apparently. It's interesting, right? And the most popular ones, I think I don't know. There seems to be a flow key on on BNB and on Ethereum, and then the same is for like Pepe and so on. I don't understand. But you see there are like thousands, hundreds of thousands of meme coin holders. It's absolutely crazy, and I think that this will take its toll at some point. But it's just nice to see. Now, one thing that I wanted to show to you guys and discuss with you guys is this here. It's the DXY, so the strength of the dollar against other currencies, right? And so this is on the daily, but let's go on the weekly with a refreshed one. So what we basically see, 4 hour, not weekly, please. So what we basically see is what we are telling, like you guys remember, if you are here, if you're subscribed since a long time, you still remember that the time when we went up here, which was in 2022. And when we lost this trend line, and basically we were about to lose like this big support area here, right? This big support area. And we didn't lose it. And there were many people that claimed that from here, that basically here DXY is going into an uptrend and we get completely wrecked. Now, we have this literally this arrow exists since that time. And it's still, in my opinion, it's still absolutely valid. And we're approaching this support now again, exactly at the time where we are talking about rate cuts, where we're talking about, basically quantitative easing coming back. So if we lose the support, it's full on. Because what does that mean? Usually it means if the dollar goes stronger, that there is movements into the dollar, out of risk on assets and out of assets in general, right? Asset outflows. But right now we have the opposite. Yeah? So the dollar weakens in comparison to other currencies, meaning also that obviously it's not only assets, like it's not like only the USDT dominance, but it is the US dollar dominance in general. In crisis times, because it's a world reserve currency, people are getting rid of other currencies and flee into the dollar. They get rid of whatever, like they get rid of stocks and go into the dollar. They get rid of crypto and go into the dollar, right? And they get rid of NFTs and go into the dollar. So that is what if you sell an NFT for currency, right? Let's say you sell it, most NFTs you can sell for crypto and then sell that crypto for currency. But the trade is, in a bear market, you sell your asset and you get dollar. So more people are in the dollar, so this thing goes up. Now we have the opposite. And it's going to be very interesting because we have knocked a lot of times on this resistance here. So we want to see a loss plus a bearish retest, something like that, and then a continuation to the downside. It coincides with our events that are coming up, right? And it's going to be interesting. If we bounce, then we will see a little bit more of sideways chop, very likely, if we have like a small bounce here or something like that. But we will see. You can flip the chart upside down with Alt-I. So if you want that, so you can also look at this from the perspective of, it depends a little bit, right? Because you can look at it from the perspective of an ascending triangle, something like that, right? Something like this, boom, big breakout. So what would that be? Is that, by the way, okay, it doesn't matter really. Yeah. So if you are in TradingView, you don't know how this is done, Alt-I flips the chart. And then we would approach, actually the measured move of this, sorry, now I can't invert. There you go. The measured move of this brings us actually back to the bottom where we were here before we had our massive bear market. So this double bottom here was actually the top of our bull run 2021. So this double bottom in DXY, right? So it's always inverted. And Yeah, so I expect this to happen at some point. Maybe it happens here, maybe in a month or two, right? But we should take an eye on this and look where it's going. But yeah, technically, this would give us a bull run. And if you zoom out, you see this happened many times before. And this was a crypto bull run. This was the 2017 cycle this year. Here's the top, basically, somewhere here. And this is the 2020 bull run, and it culminated in this double bottom in the DXY. So we are expecting to see something like that, and this is also why I say I don't think that this time is different. If the dollar loses its strength once again, and massive outflows of the dollar into assets to ride the wave. Definitely. Trucking Inc. says smash the like. Absolutely smash the like button. 30 people here. Where is the... So one more thing quickly, because we have talked about this. A couple of days ago already, the CME gap has been closed with this wick up. There's no new CME gap open. So CME gap wise, we're clean. But you see, it always holds true. Price magnetizes back to this, and it seems that we are moving at the moment on Bitcoin. Also, where we are moving is Bitcoin dominance. So we're still at high Bitcoin dominance, 57.2. We are approaching the point, finally the point where we suspect more sideways move in Bitcoin. Actually, we suspect that there's more upside still, because we're not there yet. We didn't hit really resistance, if you see that. So we're still looking at the 58 or so. And you see here, right, we have already hit 57.7, came down quite a bit in dominance. Now we're on the rise again. So we don't see any sign of reversal yet in Bitcoin dominance. And we also didn't hit the measured move here quite yet from this ascending triangle. But at some point, we are suspecting that Bitcoin dominance will top out at some point, and then probably move sideways, where Bitcoin pumps together with the altcoins, and then probably at some point Bitcoin dominance will lose critical support, and then this is the opposite now, right? So in the last ends of bull run and so on, we see this here, massive altcoin season, right? And then here, massive altcoin season. These are the two big altcoin seasons that we had before. And now the question is, third altcoin season, when, right? When? And this altcoin season could be even more massive than this one, for example, if we lose the support here at this point, right? So if we lose the support and Bitcoin goes to like 25%, let's say Bitcoin only dominates by 25% or so because of degenerate altcoin investing, that would be massive if we lose the structure here. So we will obviously also accompany this closely, and then everything will pump left and right. It's going to be absolutely crazy. Now let's look at the market. How's the market doing? Actually, the market, as you see, it's on the daily and on the weekly. It's fine. It's not. This is not what you expect from, like, this is not an altcoin season. It's not. It's just altcoins having a small recovery, right? But we see HTX up 14%, Dog with Head up 15%. So still, there's something going on with all these coins, like with the dog coins and so on. Bread 8%, Avi here, DeFi, you see Avi is an old coin still. 14% up, Neo 11%, Tau 8.3%. What's going on in the also VeChain 5%, by the way. Then we see here Popcat up 29%. RSR, Reserve Rights, I don't even know what that is. Reserve Rights is up 20%. Also Mew here behind the chat is up 12%. So that is happening. Let's also look at the top movers in top. So you see already you see already why lower market cap coins are so nice, because what the heck is this? Sundog is up 62.6%, but SYS, what is that? Syscoin is up 68%, and Numeria or something like that, and Nero the dog has some exchange listings. Nero Ethereum is up also 23%. So people didn't let go of altcoins, of meme coins just yet, but we see like overall the market is green. And if we go back to the top 100, we can also see how it looks on the week. On the week though, like our biggest movers, they are Avi, HTX, and Rune. So Rune did really, really well, and also Phantom is up 16.6%, which is good to see. I hold some Phantom, and I think it's still a good project. And also Avex is in the green, Solana is in the green, Algorand is in the green. Arweave is 7.6% in the green. I think Arweave is going to be doing really, really well in this run. Already did pretty well and showed some strength, but that's definitely happening. Now let's talk about Omi a little bit, and this is an interesting discussion. Yeah, here's where is Omi? Omi is in this thing. I think Omi is in the top 300. Should be still in the top 300, but I'm not sure if it is. I don't see it at a first glance, and also Omi is always like a small bubble because it rarely has big moves, as you might remember or might see. But I don't even know if it's still here or if it's already here. I can search here, Ecomi. Yeah, it's in 322, so it's here. Yeah, there it is. You see? So it's in the 300 to 400 here. Yeah, Moga, make Omi great again. So why is it so? Because Omi is at all-time low. Look at that. So Omi has just hit a new all-time low. Let's look at the daily quickly. Please refresh. So there we go. Is refreshed. Let's look at only at the log chart so that we can see anything. Okay, I have way too many things going on here, but bottom line is, not pun intended, but this is the bottom line actually. Bottom line is, this is the weekly chart. Maybe we can even go into the daily chart here. Bottom line is, we have pretty big sales volume on Ecomi, and Ecomi just hit yesterday, closed the candle way above, but hit yesterday 0.0038. So there was actually, this is a new all-time low here. Yes, and the support that built out here, it has been lost. It has been lost. It lost also all the other trend lines that we had before. So we are in, as I said before, we are in uncharted territory, right? Yeah, basically uncharted territory. I mean, technically you could argue that at some point you have this this wedge here where you're moving in, so you could approach this, what is that, 0.0037, then we will see if it reacts here. If it does, I would say there's some validity to this wedge pattern. If not, not. Definitely Ecomi heavily influenced by the current development, in the sense of that people are skeptical. There is a new wave of FUD in the market, on Twitter as well, that Ecomi is basically abandoned, left to the success or non-success of Stacker, right? So I think that is influencing price action at the moment, and also that people are hesitant to buy. There are people that are buying at these prices, but I think not many people have actually considered that Ecomi could go that low. Now the question is, how low will it go? Because usually when you are in price discovery to either side, there's not really there's not really much to say. I would say like the next psychological support is 00035 and then 0003 here and here. Just because these are relatively round numbers. So this could be areas to bounce, unless we actually find some validity in this wedge pattern, right? So we are not sure. And the reason for this is obviously that Ecomi is, if you go back to what when we talked about the Omi utility program, then you remember that the burn mechanics and what Omi would give you as perks and features, they were insane. Like, for example, you could rent out collectibles based on how much Omi you get staked, right? So you collectible renting was a thing, right? Now it's not. It's gone from the roadmap. You are able to purchase land with Omi in the Weaververse. So land doesn't exist anymore since already 1.5 years. It disappeared from the roadmap. And then also the burns were like, if you want to fast track a tier that gives you these perks, you would have to burn 10% or even up to 25% if you want to break free from your staked Omi. You would have massive burns, right? So this all went away, and now we have another mechanic. It's like buyers and sellers fees of Ecomi. They will burn from circulating supply. There are tests on Stacker, and there will be an AMA on Stacker, which is today, or an AMA on Twitter about Stacker. So this is going to be for sure interesting. What we see is there are like some test burns, test transactions. There was a volume of $26 on Stacker with 4 wallets involved. The burns resulted in 64 cents, 1,500 Omi. I think that there is I saw a discussion. I don't know how many users are actually on this, but I saw a discussion about the Omi burns and why you would use Omi right now. And I think there was a very fair point that was, if you want to circumvent the 10% cash out fee, Omi is very valid, right? Because you can just sell your collectible in Omi, and then you get the Omi, and then you sell the Omi in the market. And it probably the sale also creates some burn, right? But to buy Omi, at the moment there is not to buy an Omi. There's not that much incentive, right? Because you can also use the gems, so you can buy with credit card, but then sell in Omi, right? So initially we remember, and in some AMAs they said, why is there no Omi to NFT yet? They were like, oh, because we don't want to put sell pressure on Ecomi, right? Now they have exactly this effect. And I think one of the worst things that can happen is not having a roadmap for a token. So usually the bull run, like if I go and buy a coin, I buy a coin that has a nice and promising roadmap, right? So this is currently not the case. So if they want to have Omi pump like crazy, they need to announce a new roadmap for the Omi token, maybe together with Stacker, I don't care. But this needs to be very present, right? There needs to be a new roadmap that gets shilled really hard, and it shouldn't be driven by the community. It should be driven by the Veve and the Ecomi team. So there should be like a front person of the blockchain team. Hey, this is going to be our new Ecomi roadmap. I think this is important, right? Ernie says, one Omi buyer next 5 days buying 300 million tokens. Friend of mine, I'm buying approximately 10 million per week. Have faith in Omi. Time to buy is now to make XXX potential. Sounds very good, but you also have probably some profit taking. Like, I mean, you don't buy you don't buy the OMI to hold it forever, right? I mean, you don't buy the OMI out of charity for the other bag holders, right? So you're buying now. So that means, for example, if you buy now and it goes back here to this overhead resistance, you're up like 3-4x. Wouldn't you take profits? Like, what is your view? I say, as a whale, wouldn't you already take profits there and like move out of OMI? Isn't that what happened also here? That people took the 100% pump and moved out. The question is, so basically, I would add, you need to have a lot of people that need, once the price comes up here, you need to have a lot of people that are excited to buy the OMI, right? And it needs to exceed the profit taking of Ernie and his whale and a friend and all the other people that have an average down here, right? That are going to take profits already here. So you need to have someone to sell to. So I would say a new point on what we need is roadmap, right? Roadmap. Because that will tell other people what they can expect from the token, like new investors in the token. If you're researching altcoins, usually it is, you look at what's the roadmap, like what are the promises, what is going on, right? Mark D says, I'm so glad they're keeping OMI off the Veve app. Literally every normal person in the world hates crypto. They don't want to see that shit. I would argue that that is true, but also every normal person in the world is not on Veve. Like, most of the people on Veve are crypto Web3 people at the moment. I mean, most. I'm saying most. It's not that there are not new people that are only that, right? Only Veve. That is certainly the case, and the latest development of users shows it. So this is where I would say, for example, Ernie is giving us nice insights here. I would say that Veve is doing extremely well. Like, contrary to where people are saying that Veve is dead and Veve is not moving anywhere, I would say that from everything that we're seeing is, like, in this absolute dead NFT bear market, Veve is doing really well. Has user growth, has sales, has brands onboarding, like Blackpink in the middle of the bear market, right? They can even release. So this is all really, really good. So I'm as I said before, I'm bullish on Veve, on the Veve side. I'm bullish on the Veve side. I think that is fine. But, and also, what is super funny, I want to say this at least once, is like, all these people with their daily Ecomi is dead content, it's funny because, for example, you know, a coin that is dead since a longer time, it's Terra Luna. So Terra Luna is really, like, this is a dead project. I've not seen a tweet in 1 year that went viral or so about Terra Luna. It's just that, right? But Veve, everyone of the negative people, they're claiming Veve is dead, but they're there every day. And it's like, oh, look, Veve is dead, and this and that, and why, and so on, and ha ha ha, only 10 new users every day, blah, 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 right? But it's funny because this dead project gets so much engagement. And if you look at that NFT projects as maybe a better comparison, you don't find engagement, right? Ernie says, I'm long term for years. I will start selling at 3 to 5 cents. Wow. Okay, these are some interesting targets. Interesting. Alex says, people hate crypto because people are lazy. Crypto needs to be more user-friendly to the non-Web3 crowd, i.e. everyone. I think what crypto needs to be is a back-end application. Crypto, like all this stuff with, oh, you have to go there, create MetaMask. Like, I don't know if you saw this, but Yawn made a video about Illuvium. I think it's interesting to see, like, this guy is trashing every metaverse project that there is. But it's interesting to see because he shows how complicated it is to actually play Illuvium, because you need, like, if you are somewhere in Europe or in the US, you need like 1.5 weeks to be able to play Illuvium in the payable content, because until you got your wallet set up, until you made an account on Coinbase and then went to KYC and then allowed to send Ethereum off, and then go to, like, as a normal user, you're not going to use a DEX like first thing, right? You're using something like Coinbase, right? So he shows that you need like 1.5 weeks to be able to play and buy something on Illuvium, right? Yeah, exactly. So hey Troy, what's going on? Troy Paris here. These Veve prices are killing me. So much cheap stuff, says Energy. Ernie says disagree. Mark, close to 60 million in US now own. Yeah, exactly. So like 50 to 60 million own. So I think crypto people, catering to crypto people is important. Although, like, basically you also have to see that everything, like, of the core community, what has been built on Veve and Ecomi, has been built on the back of Web3 and with Web3 arguments. Like, if you see the old interviews of David Yu, you see that David Yu is like, oh, you need to have the proof, like the authenticity, the proof of blockchain, right? And that's true. It can run. You have to have this, but it can run in the background, yeah, for everyone who is like a standard user that coming from the Web 2, but wanting to have this authenticity. It can run in the background. You don't have to mint it yourself, like in the old NFT projects, right? It's like VeChain, right? You have this authenticity of the blockchain, like of the supply chain data. All you want as a front-end user, you want to scan a QR code and you want to see the verified data. You don't want to see like how it's minted and have a wallet and what. You don't want to see that. This is all running in the background. Veve doing great cash-wise. Right around the corner, Omi starts winning from Veve. Buy now or regret soon. We will see. But I like the optimism. Yes, so many good buys today. Tough to decide. Omi going under 003. You mean 000? You forgot a zero there. Omi is since a long time it's under 003. You forgot the zero. It could be happening for sure. Yes, it can happen if it's going to that. I mean, you have to see if it's going to 0003. A million Omi costs only $300, right? Dan O says, man, we're just bored. No updates, but no surprises either. Wasn't a new Veve web update supposed to be coming soon? Yeah, I mean, this is something that has contributed ultimately to the negativity. Is that when they still did the AMAs, they tended to overpromise, and then they figured out, oh, we shouldn't do that, so they did the community updates, but then they stopped the community updates, and then like people do not have any vision anymore. They were like, oh, we're going to surprise people, which they did with Blackpink and with features that they brought for the app, right? And also the new version of the web app and so on. That's all fine, right? That's like, you don't. There was supposed to be like a whole new UI, and I think like with Veve Comics, don't forget the whole Marvel Veve Comics site that is amazing. By the way, also the small labels of the rarities, they look way better than they have been looking before. So that is all nice. It's all on the Veve side. Now it's interesting to see what surprises will we get on the Ecomi side, right? Ernie says people will get it soon. The tight relationship with Disney, the Disney purchase of Epic Games. Wow. Okay. So Ernie's teasing some serious stuff here. So Disney, Epic Games, and then again. But is there a tie to Veve? what is the tie to Veve? Ernie's giving us the alpha here. So Ernie, you like, you have the job. You go to dinner with all these guys, like with David and so on, right? And then you drop the alpha here. Z-Phases says, is there even a roadmap for Ecomi? No, there is not. There's not, because they don't communicate the roadmap. There is probably a roadmap, but they don't communicate the roadmap anymore. Because in the past, it was like that. Every time they brought something from the roadmap, people were mad because this thing from the roadmap took them months longer than they had promised. And then no one was excited anymore about something that was actually a good feature. Instead, had they only like announced 2-3 small things, but then surprised with an even bigger thing, it would have had another thing. Omi, the real tortoise and hare story. The tortoise wins. So this is like going to the is a marathon not a sprint, where Jeremy Padawa says it's a sprint not a marathon. So this discussion is going on. Just one big catalyst can change everything, says Trucking Hank. I agree, but what is going to be this big catalyst? What is going to be? Disney is currently cleaning house after multiple failed projects. Acolyte just got cancelled. I saw that, yeah, Disney Plus Acolyte got cancelled. Change is happening at the House of Mouse. Long term, this is a good thing. I think I agree with you 100%. Like, if they have to get rid of this, like this ultra wokeness, right? Mark D says, I agree 100 with that, Ernie. Okay, Dan O says years longer. They have taken years longer. Yeah, for some things, like not for everything, but for many things, they have taken years longer, or it hasn't even manifested. Like, for example, interoperability / self-custody of collectibles, right? That has evolved into maintaining the custody. What is a good SR comic amount to hodl? Definitely you are beyond that energy. Like, whatever number we say, you are already beyond that energy. Just keep going. Just keep going. Crazy stuff here. But yeah, so guys, unfortunately, I have to go to the hamster wheel, make some monies that I can ape into crypto. So make sure to smash up the like button one more time. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed these daily streams here, Crypto Morning Coffee. With notifications on, so you know when I upload another video, when I come out with new content. And wherever you are on the world, have yourselves a great morning, evening, day, night, or afternoon. And tomorrow we're going to talk more about crypto and Ecomi. Have a good one, everyone, and